Rikers Island, the notorious jail complex just about a mile outside of New York City, houses about 10,000 inmates. It also houses about 100 young offenders, ages 16 and 17. When a 2014 Department of Justice report found a deep-seated culture of violence against the teenagers, New York City's mayor promised reforms, including transferring them to juvenile detention centers and ending solitary confinement for inmates under 22. The reforms came too late for Kalief Browder. He was 16 years old when police alleged he stole a backpack, and he was denied bail. He'd spend 3 years awaiting trial, including 2 in solitary confinement. In all, he made 30 court appearances until prosecutors finally dismissed all charges in 2013. Still haunted by his experience at Rikers, Kalief Browder killed himself in 2015. His brother, Akeem Browder, is making it his mission to change the juvenile justice system at Rikers and around the country. It's nice to have you with me.
Thank you.
Your brother spent 2 years in solitary confinement, and he always maintained that he was not guilty of the crime with which he was charged. His story was made public by a documentary that Jay-Z did. What's something that people don't know about your brother, Kalief?
Things that people don't know is really hard to not see a child in Kalief when remembering him as a kid. He was very playful. You
also ended up spending time at Rikers. You were charged and convicted of sex with a girl who was 12 years old. You were 15 years old, a few years older than her. What was it like to be a teenager, a 15-year-old kid at Rikers?
Rikers is not a place for a kid.
Describe it for me.
Rikers is a very scary place.
How so?
Well, one, you don't come from a background of trying to survive in your normal life of living as a kid. On Rikers, they did say that you're in an adolescent facility. However, there's adults there in that adolescent facility. And so you're faced with adult situations, trying to save your life, trying to feed yourself, trying to make sure you make it the next day. And it's a very scary situation when someone comes at you wanting to threaten your life, or when you see someone else's life threatened or even taken.
You were interacting with adults every day, even though you were 15?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it so, this is a rhetorical question because I know the answer, but explain to everyone why it's so dangerous to put 16 and 17-year-olds in with adults who are in the criminal justice system?
On many levels, one, to preserve the innocence of a child. Even though they could be accused of something, like Kalief, he was accused of allegedly stealing a backpack, and they classified this as a dangerous crime, as a violent crime. Just because it's classified that way doesn't mean he's a violent individual. And most of these kids, actually, the violence is actually not a violent crime. They don't know how to make long-term decisions. And so they're in these situations where they're forced to protect themselves. They might be forced to actually defend themselves where it might cause someone else to be harmed. You
became an activist. Why?
In my life, it's needed. I, one, of course, have a felony in my record, and since it was so long ago, however, it's still prevalent in my life. I have a 10-month-old son. I can't allow him to grow up in a world like this without his father fighting for him.
You focused on reforms, and you were promised some reforms. Mayor of New York City made a big deal about how he was going to reform and even eventually really close down Rikers. Teens are no longer held in solitary at Rikers, and they're all supposed to be removed from Rikers October 1st, which is around the corner.
Right around the corner. However, the planning is not actually done.
So you don't think it's going to happen?
It won't happen because they have to have things in place like educational liaisons, court liaisons for transferring kids from a adult facility to an adolescent, which means they'll be in family court and no longer in criminal court. It puts them in the realm of getting what kids deserve: education, proper transitional coaches, and the counseling that comes with it.
This is the first time, I think, especially here in New York, that regular people, not people who are working in the system, not lawyers, not people of family members who are incarcerated, but just regular folks in New York City really are having conversations about incarceration. Do you think that's true? And does that make you hopeful about opportunities for real reform?
Everywhere we're seeing conversation come up and more people being educated about it. And I think this is a good thing.
Akeem Browder, thanks for talking with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.